All right, hi guys. Give an introduction. I'm Bruce Celia Jr. I'm out of the Fort Lee office. I helped found it with Al Donahue many moons ago, 7-8 years ago, and was able to construct a mechanism in this business that allowed me to get ahead, allowed me to generate millions of dollars in revenue, whether it be commissions as principal and development side. And for that, I'm going around and teaching some people. I'm also giving them some opportunities in case you guys are interested or have properties or things like that, where there can be some opportunity. All right, so last year I did about 76 million in sales, got about 66 million plus right now in contract. 2 development sites with another 2 more coming right now that we have actively in motion. So small guy in a big pond, but in terms of relativeness, it's just another person, another deal, another transaction. Just change the way you look at it, and the way that you look at it will change. Okay, so based on everybody's feedback, seems like we got about half the class is newer, half the class is a little more experienced. So I'm going to touch on both aspects. Feel free at the end, we're going to do like a 15-minute Q&A around 12 o'clock. We'll wrap up by 12:15. So you guys can keep on your schedules, I can keep on mine. And then any questions from there, because you came through this course, I'm going to make sure that they give a bucket, put your business card or put your name in there. I'll add you to my preferred broker list. This gives you an opportunity with my team and I to get the properties first that are exclusive only to ourselves and our team through coming and training. I figure if you're here, you're trying to learn, you're trying to get ahead. I will give you guys opportunities because other people gave me those same opportunities when I was getting in the business and when I was years in the business, when I realized, holy crap, how the heck can I make myself free from the rat race, from everybody else that's around me that's got an employee mindset? How do I become the entrepreneur I want to become? So I'm going to share some ideas and some things like that that work for me. Maybe they work for you, maybe not. The point being is that there's going to be some general concepts. You guys got to fill in the rest of it in terms of where your life is going, where you want to see your vision in business, and also your personal lives, because they all intertwine together. Permission to keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. Any initial questions before I start diving in? No? Pretty good? All right, great. So this is going to be residential agent to commercial broker. So I started in the business, like I said, as a residential agent. I did my first transaction as a co-op commercial sale. It's almost the unicorn in this business. It's extremely hard to find even a deal to do. I somehow did it. Wasn't sure about the business, couldn't believe what I was getting into, but it paid me a bunch and allowed me to travel overseas when I was 20 years old later in life, and also helped me out with so many other things. So I looked at it and said, holy crap, this is something that's attainable. So I started and I did a commercial deal, the first deal I've ever done. And I just did almost all residential deals after that for a number of years. So what I realized is that there's bigger opportunity. The same residential person, if they're successful and we sell more luxury, 800 million, 5 million, whatever your point of luxury is, that they also have a business. Most of them were entrepreneurial. A lot of the people that we deal with that are on the higher net worth levels are not employees. They're people that have grown organizations, sold them, done different things. They started realizing, wow, this guy owns 10 distribution centers and almost $100 million in real estate, and here I am selling a $1.8 million house. I said, how do I get the unfair share of this part? So I started with education. So I'm going to dive into this today. If no other questions going in. Okay, so what I want you to focus on is, I don't want you guys to write notes per se. I'll tell you when to write notes. I want you to understand concepts. I want you to understand the stories that I'm telling you about today, because with regards to that, you're at a 22 times higher level if you understand some stories than just being lectured or writing notes. Now, granted, writing notes, putting that down, you have a 40% chance higher of retaining the actual information than you do just listening. So jot down the exact specific things that you intend on doing, some action items or things that just blow your mind. All right, it'll help you in all regards. So that's the basics. Moving ahead, we're going to grow your foundation in residential. So I know most of you guys and girls are either new in the business or a few years in. With that mindset in place, you need to grow somewhere and start somewhere. I started in residential. So I got really good at sharpening the sword with being a residential transaction broker. I did leasing and I did single families, condos, townhouses, you name it. Made myself aware, marketed it, and became an education piece of telling people this is what you do, this is what you do. And eventually that education became business for me. So I turned it over into that and started transacting at a high volume with regards to residential. Okay, so jumping into it, when you have to have a residential foundation, just think anywhere that you're starting is where you're gonna be starting. Okay, my story, like I told you, began in the investment world from, basically Wall Street, transitioning into real estate. That was my story. So when you have your story, create it amongst yourself, because your story is gonna be eventually who you are later on. So understand that you're creating your story. You could be in day one in real estate and just walked in. You could be 5 years from now, 10 years from now. We're always reinventing ourselves. So make sure you understand where your path is. Because in this business, you can choose. We're not just told here, this is what you do. No, you have a lot of different options as to what you want to do and how to go about it. Okay. So where did you start? Stop and think, and what made you get into this business? Mine was investing. What was yours? Jason, what made you get into real estate?
Freedom.
Freedom. I think I can agree to that. Most people in this room, correct? Okay, we're in this for freedom. We want to create freedom. We don't see the same visions as some of our other friends or some of parents or whatever it may be in the programming of the world. We need to, in essence, reprogram our minds a little bit to understand what we want and go after that unfair share, because nobody else is going to be rooting for you just as much as you yourself. Okay, so understand that where we're at and where we're going are going to be two different things. You could be already a multimillionaire and have tons of properties. You still need another vision as to where you're going. Or you could be down on your luck and trying to figure something out in life. It's your opportunity now to actually change it. Okay. So when you think about reasoning, understand that real estate business has multiple vertical integrations of businesses and services that can customize every single agent's life by design. All you have to do is just tap into it. Commercial real estate would be the resource for education, turned into perspiration, turned into advocacy. Once you start training and understanding things, you become an advocate. You're going to become a person that's going to educate others, and then you become an actual professional that's handling. Okay. So just a couple of questions to answer before we jump into the material. What's considered income in commercial real estate?
I can't cheat all that.
Okay. Anything is income that brings in income. Could be parking, storage, could be rooftop amenities, could be amenity fee, could be pet fee, anything that's pertaining income. So I don't want you to just think unit or building and income. There's so many ways to have additional income and assets in commercial. So you got to understand that income is not just a unit. It could be a factor of different things. These days, parking is a big thing. Parking generates tons of income.
Roof antennas,
billboards, signs. Understand that. I'm trying to expand your mind to understand that it's not just one thing. It could be multiple things. So understand that that's what income is considered. Expenses associated with commercial real estate. What are expenses? They're the OPEX, the operating expenses. The operating expenses could be taxes, insurance, repair and maintenance, could be common area utilities, could be snowplow. There's so many different things. Now, this one is one of the underutilized by brokers. They typically give you less expenses than what properties are. So understand that those are big items. The income and expenses are the first thing that you want to start off with, whether it's an owner user that's going to be purchasing or selling, or it's going to be an investment that somebody's seeking a return on the market for. Okay. Anybody know what net operating income is? There you go. The income that you make after your expenses. Okay. Now remember, this is above the line item. Okay. You're going to have debt servicing below it. So if you take a mortgage on a property in commercial real estate, your return could be lower if your rate is, let's say, higher or lower, depending on where that return on investment is. So they're always done on a cash yield basis. So if you purchase it cash, what's your return? So that's the net operating, and that's how you decide. And then below that's debt servicing. Everyone staying with me here? Okay. What designates a commercial property? What's a commercial property? Let's say Northern New Jersey right now, you got a phone call. What would be considered something?
Residential would be family plus.
There you go. That's what I was looking for, actually. Exactly that. Five units plus for residential, or it could be anything. What's another commercial building example?
I guess almost anything that produces an income. Right?
Technically, I guess that's not an answer I was looking for. Technically, that's correct. Yeah, I mean, if it's generating income and it's above that unit count, but I was thinking more like, the AT&T store, or the Apple store you go in, the mall, the retail, your favorite restaurant, the outdoor space that's great on the front streets of Hoboken. Those are all commercial real estate buildings. They're all mixed. Could be mixed use, multifamily, residential only, commercial, depends. So just I want you to expand your mind in terms of understanding. Then how do you transition from residential to commercial easily and effectively? That's what I'm going to jump into guys with today. Okay. Questions and permission to move forward? Good, okay, awesome. You guys will all have the slides from this today. So just to give you an example of some stepping stones. I'm a firm believer you gotta take steps in order to get to the top of the mountain. One step at a time, every single time will outpace the rabbit that tries to run right up the hill. It's gotta be a slow, methodical way, but also at the same time systematic. So start with a 2 to 4 family, okay? Get the understanding, income and expenses. Where is this at in terms of the market? What is it being sold at? Typically, these aren't sold on cap rates. They're sold more on the price per square foot and the desirability because they're higher purchase affordability for buyers. 9 times out of 10, if you get an FHA 2 family, what happens to the price? Skyrockets, right? That's the difference in the market. Where you see a lot of different pricing is because of the affordability and because of that. You start getting into commercial, you don't have those. There's no FHA buyer in commercial. Although I did hear a note the other day that there is changing laws for that. That'll be coming soon. I have heard something rumbling. Then go to a bigger asset. 5, 7, 8 unit, whatever it might be. Take it on, prospect it. I'm going to teach you guys how. Get into that, understand what it is. It's just a little bit bigger than a 2 to 4. If you can do that, you can do an 8 to 10. If you have a commercial store, well, that's just another tenant in a 2 family, except it's on the bottom floor. Okay, let me write that down. Put all the income, all the expenses, separate the line items, okay? And then if you get to, even bigger, 13, 20, 50, 100, 200, 500. All you have to do is understand that there's a process to it. Now, learning each step of the way will give you the opportunity to excel at that level without jumping to the front. Because I wouldn't be able to get to here or these other levels that we're engaged on or sold on or, working on without getting through the beginning. I couldn't become a college athlete and a quarterback without being a high school athlete and a quarterback. And a middle school and a pee-wee before that. Those are the steps I had to take athletically. The same thing I look at it in real estate is the same thing. Until you become a pro, you're somewhere along the journey. And that journey is going to take you ups, downs, and sideways. So what I always say is learn to live in the middle. Don't become too emotionally attached to any of these transactions. Become methodical and approach towards a game. If it becomes a game to you, everything else is non-existent because it's about winning the game. And if you win the game together, all of a sudden your bank accounts are filled up, you can have properties, you can take care of your mother, your cousin, this new business venture you want to hop in, whatever. You have the freedom, just like Jason said, that's what we're seeking, freedom. I don't care what your dreams and goals are, or how big or how small they are. My encouragement is to go after the freedom of a stepping stone because progress will give you fulfillment. If you make progress on things and you're steadily at it, you're going to get fulfillment and you're going to wake up each day with a better mindset and a better way to attack those goals that you're looking to accomplish. Okay. Any questions so far? Good. So stepping stone. So now what is it that actually it takes to be a commercial broker versus a residential? The first thing is CCIM training. Does anybody know what CCIM training is? Okay. So this is the highest level of commercial real estate licensing that you can obtain. The courses, I put every single thing that I physically do and still do to this day on what courses I take, where I train, how I go about it, etc. The website, and again, all this material will be available to you on the email out from your Dofi, but just understand the concepts. I go here, I can click education, I can choose online, in person, etc. And then I can go into the courses and get the materials and training. You're training with high-level individuals that are around you. You could get questions answered at an easier rate, a much faster rate, and effective rate. Not to mention you have this material for life. It stays with you. You can look at it, use the models, and get ahead. There's hundreds and hundreds of courses. Do the ones that are most particular to your business, at your time, right now. Don't look 5 years ahead about this. You have to have short and long term. If I'm looking at it and I might have a multifamily listing coming up, I might hop into one of these courses just to start and steal, just to see if there's something else. If it's you guys, in the same regard, if I have an industrial building, my cousin owns a mechanic shop, he's going to be selling. Hey, listen, I'm taking courses about industrial buildings, auto mechanic, just wanted to share. You start sharing your education based on that. People will give you a chance when they know that you're educating, they know that you're committed. Without that, you don't even stand a chance because you're going against other people that are just as prepared, just as qualified, and years of experience. So what makes the difference of you versus that person? What makes the difference of you standing in the room and me standing? What makes a difference if Jason's standing in a room and me standing in a room? We both can be very high level, and bring different things to the table. That's the same thing that you guys are gonna have to bring to your own business, into the table with your clientele. Right? You can service them at any level, just understand you have to educate yourself to get to the servicing at that level. And if you choose not to, you're doing an injustice to yourself and your client. Fair statement, right? So literally, you go to the CCIM website, you click on upcoming courses, you choose whether you'd like to attend in person or online, read through the courses, what's applicable to today, jump on one course. My encouragement for everybody that's interested or has an asset coming up as a listing, buying side, I wouldn't suggest, listing side. Take the course. They're typically between $100 and $1,500 each. Get the material, you start meeting people in the courses, eventually you'll do more deals with that. Right? Any questions on this? All right. So what is the CCIM's Institute? Just like I was explaining to you. It's taught by instructors who are themselves are industry leaders, who are in commercial real estate investment methodologies, tools that speed the pathway between opportunity and go, no-go decision and success in each asset class. It's designed to enhance your commercial real estate experience and also your clientele. Once you go through one of the courses, you'll see that it's a methodical approach mixed with a very analytical, and then you have general overviews. So depending on if you like to go deep in it, or if you like on the surface level, it'll accommodate both, okay? Now, if you earn your full designation, which I'm on the process of, it takes a very long time. It's like getting a surgeon's, oncologist surgery as a specialist. You follow me? It's an extremely in-depth situation and you need prerequisites. You have to have business sold. So as you go through this, you can keep going. Just know that to get to the end of this, you have to have assets sold, leased, et cetera, and show your portfolio, show your commissions, show everything that you're doing in order for it to actually be passed. So it's the legitimate way that we do commercial real estate, right? That's why I say train there. There might be 100,000 places to train. That one is the best one of them all. It's like for me going to Ohio State football and playing there, that would be the way that you go. To me, there's only bigger. Somebody can argue Michigan, somebody can argue USC, somebody can tell me Rutgers. Well, Rutgers, I'm gonna have to politely say, no go to, okay? Because it's just not at that level. So that's what I'm saying. Be the whatever team or athlete that you desire, or person that you look up to, be that person in that. That's what this will teach you. Okay. Any questions on the CCIM? Okay. So now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes. This is going to be how to. We got to build a commercial database. So now think of it like this. You've been new to the business. You've got clients that you've sold or leased properties to. And you're saying, I want more. So what do you have to do? You got to change the way you're doing something now in order for something else to change in the back end. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So what do we have to do to be a commercial broker? We have to take off our residential hat and put on our commercial hat. Know that there's verbiage that's different. Know that the way that you talk, the way that you represent yourself, the way that you represent your company, your documents, everything's different. That's why it's commercial. That's why some of the biggest assets traded on the commercial level require a lot of education and training. So what are we doing now? We're starting to do our first commercial deal. That's what we want to do. We're gonna have to build a database of commercial people, okay? So building a database, a new business equals a new database. What I would do is you start a spreadsheet on command and you start tagging them, commercial, 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 and you start building databases. So you started with a thought and that thought turned into action. Now you're off and running into a field that you're excited about and nervous and slightly intimidated or maybe even scared of. Let that fuel your gas tank on the road to success. Here's your opportunity to start fresh with a new database and a new network of like-minded people. So remember all those things that you taught and trained on and had or beginning to? Well, now's your chance to start completely over and new and put on and say, I'm building a commercial database while you're running a residential business. Okay, so every single day, an hour, 2 hours on, you're chopping away at the tree, chopping away at the tree. By the time you know it, when you look back, all of that condensed time adds up. It's time on task. So eventually you can switch over once you have that and then create a residential section in your business, which is exactly what I did. Because then you can have people leveraged handling all your residential. My buddy that still wants to buy a condo next week is coming to me. I'm just not handling his services. Having a teammate handle it that handles the residential section.
So remember, you're a magnet towards business. You just have to be able to do the 3 Ds, I call them in life. Do, delegate, or ditch. That's something I write down. Do, delegate, or ditch. If you're not doing that, your life won't be in proportion because you won't be able to get everything that you've done. You'll be worrying about the emails that are still in your inbox from 2 weeks ago that you forgot to respond to or overthought 60 times. Or you have any other excuse or whatever your limiting beliefs are in your life, whether it be family, I can't do it, I'm not smart, or I don't have the resources, whatever it is that's holding you back, you'll be able to break through it. Because remember, it's new, so we're fresh, we're new energy, right? So all of a sudden, gonna be other points that you're gonna see that are gonna get tougher. The new is always exciting for somebody. Being in a new relationship, lustful, you're all about it, it's all there, right? What happens? Over time, it goes. So instead of engaging in saying, oh, I don't want to do this, know that it's just going to be consistency over time. Okay? Build it from the inside is the absolute toughest thing you can do and the most fulfilling in life. So seeing a business that is already built seems to be easy from the outside looking in. Building it from the inside is the absolute toughest thing you can do in the most fulfilling life. Understand it's not going to be easy. Okay, you're going to take punches, verbal punches. You're going to take criticism. You're going to take a lot. You have to be able to have tough skin and get over things quickly. If you can be in commercial real estate. If you can't, you're going to get caught in your emotions. The sensitive, salaries are going to be coming out. You're going to want to run away. It's not going to work out for you. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Quick tip. Remember, success in commercial real estate often requires patience and persistence. Building a strong reputation and client base takes time. Chipping away, I would say, at the tree of life. In order for you to cut it down, you got to chip away at it each day. Any questions on this slide? Very good. Okay. So building a commercial database, what assets and to who do you want to sell them to? So let's get some engagement because I feel like the energy is a little bit low. Brandon, talk to me. What assets and who do you want to sell them to? Okay, and why do you want to sell them to?
Because I want to get into that install figure.
So you want to get into them to own? Good. The best thing that I always say about any job that you guys had before this, you guys weren't learning systems and processes on good levels, high levels. Like even if it's McDonald's, shoot, I always say that the systems are the best part. So if you were working at McDonald's and you had a mindset that said, okay, wow, I'm learning one of the biggest franchises in the entire world, how they do things. I can probably create a business for myself that models something like that. So in terms of that, that's a perfect vertical integration. If I'm going to jump in it, I might as well transact on them, know what they're doing, because then I can become an investor. That's a pathway to success. So anybody else?
Like, I would like to target like mechanic shops or stuff like that to sell to developers.
Okay, that's a big thing. We always look for industrial properties to be able to retrade and, prove status. So I think that's a great economic model too. You'll find certain things that'll be tough and challenging and other things that'll be rewarding. What about anybody else? Yep.
Like we said later on, I want to get into multi-family, create multiple units and rent them. Lifestyle and concessions.
Okay, that makes sense. When you look for something that's bigger and something that you haven't done before, you gotta know that you're climbing up now. You gotta know that I'm willing to put time in, because somebody else is gonna put just as much time, if not more, in it. And one day you guys are gonna meet for a listing, for property, or for something else. And you better be prepared, because you only get one chance at first impression. You don't get a second chance at first impression. I've lost a lot of listings. I've lost a lot of business due to those educational tips that I didn't take, but I should. So instead of making them yourself, stand on the shoulders of giants. Make sure that that is something that you can apply. Okay. So when we look, we're going to have to do these things. Define your database and your purpose. So again, this is a sample based on what I'm talking about for myself. So what do? This is what I do. If you guys want to do it, this is exactly what I would suggest to you to understand where you're at. Define your database purpose. Mine's development, mixed use, multifamily. Choose your software. Command. Data collection. I take everything from CoStar. MoveNet,
You get as many phone numbers, as many names, whatever you need. That's where I get my database. So when I look to build a new database, I just pour the fire hydrant on a new asset class, or I pour the fire hydrant on something else for the ISAs to bring me back now leads for these assets. Data entry. Hard time having. Have somebody in the office that's a real estate agent already, that's wants a few extra bucks. Hey, can you work for me 4 hours a week and put all these people? Sure. Very simple thing, just about asking. I would say, if you don't ask, you never get the answer of yes or no. You just get it in your mind. To me, I like clarity. I want to know. Would you be able to help? No. Okay, next. Yes. Okay, great. Here, let's do something. So just even that, just hire something part-time, even if it's one time. But you got to start building a database. If you're not doing it, somebody else has to do it, and you need to give them the leads to be able to pour into it. And you'll understand why in the next couple of slides when we start getting into marketing. Structuring your database specifically to meet your goals. Define the contacts bucket. Mine are investor, builder, large builder, basically everything else. I don't really do it too specific because I realize that it becomes overlap. Some investors like certain things, but then all of a sudden I see them transact over here, and I'm like, what the heck? You told me that you wouldn't want to buy something like that. Oh, it was a deal. I thought about it. So I started saying, screw that. You're just an investor in my mind. I'm going to pour everything on you that's investable. So things like that, or builders. Builders could be small, single-family duplex builders to hundreds of units. They range. Sometimes if you're looking at land acquisitions, they have their own personal portfolios. They have things separate from their bigger company. It's a mix. You got to get a little bit more juicy with each client to understand where that mix is. Right? Structuring your database specifically to meet your goals. Define the contacts bucket. Relationship building and strengthening. So as you reach out to these individuals, bring them exclusive off-market units that you have in your office, or come to me and I'll happily share. If you're in this room, you're going to grow. I'll happily share some with you. So you can say, hey, I got an off-market exclusive, might not meet your criteria. However, take a look. Who do you know that would be interested? You're building your name, your internal flame of being able to do this. You're going to mess up a lot in the beginning. You got to just keep pushing through. So you got to build relationships. I always say, if somebody's going to try to do dinners or lunches or something of significant time, it better be worth it. It better be worth it. I'll do a cup of coffee for a half hour, an hour, or way before I'll do a lunch or dinner. And if I'm doing that, it always becomes, well, I'm doing this for a specific reason. So get intentional with what you do, because after that, if you don't follow up with business and you just got dinner for 4 people and all of a sudden it's great and you have fun, well, it's either fun or it's business, or it could be both. But in the beginning, I always thought of it as, oh, let's do that, and then didn't follow up enough or didn't secure the business enough. And realized when I would do my taxes and certain things that I spent way too much on more entertainment with people without having that return on business. So I'm encouraging you to understand what you're doing and what you're spending in terms of that, because that'll be your relationship building. It blew my mind when Jason received a pair of AirPods for Christmas last year. I couldn't believe it, from one of his clients that he met maybe once. And I said, holy crap, but you know what it did? It made me always remind myself, that is the person I'll never forget. So little things that build relationships, however you are, your person-wise, be you in doing that. I don't know if that guy buys 1,000 from Apple or if you just bought Jason one. But the point being is never forget it. So do whatever your spin on life is with people, how you connect. I call it the gift that we're given. If you're given something in this world, like Steve Harvey, he was talking about it the other day. And he was saying his gift was being able to take any bit of information given to him and translate it and put it into comedic approach. And he's absolutely hilarious. And he's right. Now, my gift might not be that, but it's different. And mine's more in people and the way that I can put things together and mend things. So find yours for this business, and then you bunker around that a business. Plug the weaknesses. Called if you ever want to read a good book called Strength Finders. You stay in your strengths and you leverage out your weaknesses. You just have to know enough information of your weaknesses. But I sure as heck wouldn't tell you to just study the things that you're most weak at, because the things that you're most great at will give you the most benefit. I don't do paperwork. Why? When I get lost in the sauce, I can do it, but I'm not the greatest at it. So I don't choose to do it. Even though I could, it takes me a lot of energy and time to do things like that. I'll do it. Just like the owner of a restaurant will come and hand you some food sometimes and say, hey, how's everything going today? It's not just your server, right? Or the busboy might come and take your order before the waiter does, because they know that your child's right there screaming. It's just a matter of reporting the roles and understanding the bigger picture. Continue the topsoil. Contacts and organize. So what happens is that you're gonna start meeting a lot of people in your building of the database that are gonna become, oh, I wanna buy this, or I wanna sell this, or I wanna do this. And then all of a sudden it becomes a lot of different things that go into topsoil. Who transacts faster? What type of time frame are they on? Who has the least contingencies? It becomes a bigger game of the internal versus the external, okay? So just always remember, if you go to, got a good client in Resi that just buys and buys and buys or sells and sells and sells, start pivoting in terms of educating and explaining, this is what I'm doing. Hey, I just took a great course on commercial. Hey, I just took this land multifamily acquisition course. Position yourself around these people to be the person they're gonna go to when they think of that. There's not too many in the commercial world versus the residential world. Everybody knows residential agent. Not many people know good commercial world. Right? Data security. I keep video live stream in my office and I keep my computers completely sealed and encrypted. Why? Because I have proof of funds on there from people with so much money and different things with account names and numbers. I don't want to be breached. So I make sure that's at top level. Same thing you should do in your business. You get into commercial, know that security is going to be of the utmost importance. People don't want to see that you're doing things loosey-goosey. They don't want to see that you're not taking care of the fact that the data needs to be secure. Right? Training on your craft and sharing your success with the database. This is what I did very, very heavily, and it worked. You tell people what you're training on, encourage them, know the information, and then teach the information to everybody else. If you do that, you become an expert and position yourself as an expert. Could be in one class, maybe you just like multifamilies. Be the best multifamily that you can and then expand out. Point being is that once you have specialized knowledge in these fields, you still have your residential business, you still have a commercial business if you want, but you're focused on this. That will give you a higher return because you'll be able to close more efficiently because it's an actual deal, you know, you underwrite, you can see it, you've done it, it's closable. And it'll speed up your time. Questions? Okay, last thing is the most important one. It's number 10. It's you got to take contacts and turn them to contracts. If you're not understanding this method in any sales business, that's the first thing that you would want to do outside of anybody. Make a contact and make it a contract. Right? Contact to contract. Contact to contract. Any questions? So building a commercial database. Brandon, what's one thing that you would input immediately into your business? Which one would you start with? So you're looking at mixed use and multifamily. You got KW Command, you're hopping on CoStar. You're gonna hire somebody or do the inputting yourself. And then you're gonna start your buckets.
I'll probably start with small, like
5 to 10 units.
looking for clients that want to sell that, people don't want to pay that.
Okay.
People I know that want to invest.
Okay, people that want to invest, good. Is anybody else prospecting right now? FSBOs and expires. Okay. Anybody else? Yeah, good. It's the same thing. That's what I'm saying. You're just literally turning on a different faucet. It's like the hot water and the cold water. It's just two different things. This water pops out. Same thing. So just understand, focus on something. If you need CoStar lists, if you need anything that's specific to this, I can easily get you off on the first round. Email me, I can get you a list of 400 or 500 people that you can call. It literally will change the difference if you continue on that. Why? Because we do this right now. Right now, as I speak, Elvis is in the office with Tatiana prospecting. Every single day. Because new business is the way to generate more business. And sales drive income, and income drives paying expenses. Paying expenses drives having profit. So it's a whole wheel, it's a whole system. Okay?
So you use CoStar to get to specify that you're looking?
Yeah, so in CoStar, I can specify saying I want between 5 and 10 units in all of Bergen County, every single property available. I'll weed out the actual ones that are active or for lease, and then that's a database now of every property, virtually every property that's on the, in the system not on the market.
And then you have to find it, skip trace phone number.
No, it gives it all to you.
Has the data on.
Gives it all to you. So unlike the residential side, what I realize is that I can get to commercial sellers much quicker. Much quicker. I just know that there's differences of who I'm gonna be speaking to. You follow me? If it's a smaller industrial building, chances are, just giving an example, it's an owner user. You go large scale, chances are the person you're calling is not gonna be a decision maker. So common sense kind of comes into play a little bit, with this in terms of that, when you're looking at saying, okay, well, I'm not getting a response. The first 100 calls you make, you don't get a response. What's going on here? So put on a little common sense in the mix of this and put on your business skills. You guys are here in this room for a reason. Everyone here is smart enough to do everything that you want to do. It's just a matter of attacking it with the right plan. Okay? So building and maintaining a commercial real estate database is an ongoing process, and it can significantly streamline your operations, enhance your ability to serve clients effectively and efficiently. Okay, so we're building the commercial database. Now it's 10 ways to implement your training. Okay. So all our dreams come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Learning can be a valuable process, and how you implement what you learn can vary depending on your goals and the nature of what you're learning. Here are some different ways to implement what you learn effectively. Okay, so now we just taken some CCIM courses. We're building a database. We have our system in place. Our new commercial business is up and running. And now what are we doing? So remember, learning can be a valuable process, and how you implement what you learn will vary. The goals and nature of what you're learning. Teaching others. After you learn, teach the materials to someone else like-minded. Your friend, your stuffed animal, your teacher. Who cares? Your dog, cat, I don't care. Teach it to somebody, because if you teach it, you learn it. And if you learn it, you know how to implement it. If you implement it, well, then you can hit your goals. Sales, income, helping however many families, donating pairs of socks, everything. I don't know, I've heard of it. Whatever you're attached to, just attach it to your heart and attach it to the logic of your mind. Practice and application. Apply what you learn with hands-on practice. If I'm going for a 5-unit, I'm gonna sure as heck prospect, and somebody's gonna answer that phone and say, yes, they want me to actually come over. So I'm prepared for that yes. When does it come? Every no leads me closer to a yes. That was my Wall Street model. Okay, and when I was on Wall Street, 6 a.m. at my desk, 450 calls a day have to be made, and they had a dialer with a system that told you how many times you're on the phone, how long you're on the phone, till 6 p.m. Couldn't wait to get out of there eventually. What does it teach you? It teaches you hard work. It teaches you that the reason why people succeed and why I can see guys and girls with basic knowledge of information making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, that you would walk past them and it wouldn't be a holy crap, like this person's that good. It's more like, no, they just mastered a couple of skills. And I couldn't believe it. And I'm talking about calls 6 a.m. to people in London, in Australia. You could barely hear them on the phone. And somehow they're delivering hundreds, if not millions of dollars to this company. It was mind-blowing to me. Mind-blowing. But if they can do that, I said to myself, I can do freaking anything. Couldn't believe it. So I'm inserting and empowering you guys to do the same, because the second you watch that happen is the second that you say, I can do anything in this world. They do that. Projects and challenges. Take on projects and challenges that require you to use your newfound knowledge. What is that? Well, my cousin has a 5-unit. He's not selling it, but what about if I asked him if I could do an underwriting packet and make him a packet? Why don't I give some free samples out there? Kind of like a 14-day trial test. We got to work for free a little bit before we can actually get paid by people, especially when we're new on. If you come from a mindset of entitlement, I guarantee you that you're going to be outworked and outsmarted by all the other people out here, just like myself and all you guys. I assure you that. So make sure that when you go, take on a project. Hey, Mom, hey, Aunt Sally, you know that construction project that you just built over there? Can I do an underwriting? Can I show you how much it's worth? Do something that's going to bring value to somebody else, and at the same time, you're learning. And I'll tell you what, if you do a pretty decent job, you'll know. And if you do a horrible job, you'll know too. Who cares? They're not expecting you to come sell it. What you're doing is sharpening your sword, so that when a client comes, you're actually able to provide value and give them real understanding. I'll mess up 100 times in practice, and I come from the mindset of 90% practice, 10% game. That was my football mentality. I knew I was practicing way more than I was playing. I was totally okay with that. 'Cause I knew when that 10% came on, I was gonna kick your freaking ass. And I knew in this, when that 10% comes on, I'm gonna kick whoever's ass is in front, I'm gonna do it. That's just my mindset towards it, not literally. It's just a figure of speech and saying, guys, empower yourself to be good and have conviction so that you know what you're doing. So when you go against somebody else, you're trying to change your life, your family's life, your business, you actually know that I can do it. Because that's a powerful mindset. People know it. They see it, they read it, they look in your eyes, they know exactly who the winner is when that's coming through. You want to be positioning yourself for that. All right, mentors, different coaches, seek guidance from mentors, coaches that have the expertise that you seek. I still seek out all the time, experts in the field, people that are better than me. I always say, if I'm the smartest person in the room, I'm in the wrong room. Don't want to be in that room. I want to be in a different room. You guys should too. Encourage yourself to be better, grow, fail, succeed. Well, it takes one success in this world. Nobody will ever remember your failures. Join communities, join in-person online communities related to your interests. If I'm a person that my family's in going into mechanical, auto bodies, things like this, what other groups are there? I guarantee you I can meet probably 20 or 30 people that own auto bodies that chances are, if I said, hey, I just transacted here, or our office sold an auto body, and market it to them and say, hey, whenever you're ready, I'm here. It's whatever your positioning is, but you have the business once you educate. You have the conviction, because nobody, once you open your mouth in commercial, they know whether or not you know what you're talking about. So it's better to be more humble than say, don't know, can you teach me? Or can you explain that, than to be the other way? Because if you go against somebody that knows what they're doing, it's gonna not look good for you, and you're not gonna be able to move ahead. Commercials are very different things. It's a kind of a good old boys and girls club. So they want to let you in when you know what you've done and you've earned it. They kind of keep you out a little bit until then. Okay, so just understand what you're going against. These are the largest transactions that will ever happen in the United States, state of New Jersey. So it's going to be a little bit of layering that you need to get to in order to be able to get in front of it. Continue learning. Learning is an ongoing process. Stay up to date in developments in your field. If you're not learning, you're losing. You never lose, you learn. If you're not learning, you're losing. You never lose, you learn. Understand what I just said. You understand that, you'll understand a lot of other things in life. Because that day that was really hard, the day that was really good, whatever you want to mix in it, it doesn't matter, because your psychology is focused on what you're doing. Right. Networking, build a network of your contacts in the field of interest. If you guys don't have some contacts, a lot of my closest friends are people that are in a like-minded business, mindset, field, ability. Those are people I attract towards. Those are people I want attracting towards me. Create your own network. You want to be multifamily broker, taking courses, great. See who else in the office wants to do it. See who else wants your vision. You want to be a developer? See who else that likes that development. Start studying together. You know, I met somebody 10 years after I did a land designation course with him. I'm doing tons of business with him now, 10 years later, because I went to the same course with him 10 years ago. Now, that's nothing special. That just happened to be him, and I ended up, you know, kind of climbing up the ladder as fast as we could. But what it tells you is that if you're in those rooms with people, chances are you got a shot. And what you make of it, that's like a horse when you lead it to water. You either drink or you don't. Can't force it. Feedback, reflection. Send feedback, seek feedback on your work, and reflect on your progress. If you're not doing that, you're not going to grow. In the mornings, I always do my reflection and feedback. I'll spend 10 or 15 minutes just thinking about what happened yesterday and what's going on today and where I can fill gaps. Best thing in the world that I ever learned, and I laugh with Jason, is he always says his best thoughts come in the shower. They come from somewhere. For me, it's the morning when I reflect on the time. For you, it may be something else. The point being is that if you're not stopping, slowing down to speed up, you're just like the roller coaster that just keeps zooming by. At some point, you got to stop for some maintenance. At some point, you got to put the nuts and bolts back on that fall off a little bit due to the rattling of the world. You know, you got shook in a personal situation, you got shook in a commercial deal. The world seems like you're ending. How do you go to your next appointment and actually convince the listing agent, the owner, to hire you as a listing agent? You have to be mentally strong. So what does that have to do? Feedback and reflection. Problem solving. Use your knowledge to solve real world problems in your fields of interest. What I always say is, I was studying something on the billionaire mindset. And what they said is that a lot of the people that they've entrusted in their systems have come from working for free or solving just simple problems that they have in their life. Like i.e., one of them was the damn dog sitter. This guy was selling him a whole bunch of real estate, couldn't find the damn dog sitter that his wife was acceptable with. There was always an issue, cameras. This guy just literally hired a dog sitter, specifically told him what to do and all this. And that got in the door of $1 billion. Just from that one little item. So where's our item? Where's your item? Where's your door item? Maybe that's not gonna be mine, but I sure as heck know that there's gonna have to be a way that that foot needs to go in the door. And I gotta figure out a way to open it after that. May not know the answer right now, but I'll figure it out. Sure as heck will. I will go down swinging and trying every step of the way like you all should. Because you're not gonna lose, you're gonna learn. If you understand that, then I just learned a whole bunch. And I just learned typically on somebody else's money. You know, business right now, you're learning and earning at the same time. Good way to go. Right? Content creation, sharing newfound knowledge through writing, blogging, vlogging, or podcasting. Do whatever you can. I started a blog with my affirmations in the morning, and I love it. It keeps me anchored and grounded. I put it out to the world just because this is what I do in my personal time, and the time I call it as unseen. A lot of people have time that they see people. The most important time is your unseen time, because that's where you actually build your character and make who you are. Because during scene time, it's like playing in the game. It's easy for everyone to show up, but I tell you, I can look right through people immediately and know where they're at, what's going on based on a few questions. You can do the same thing and align yourself with the people that you see the questions being answered at a high level with conviction and advocation towards what they're doing. It's like, sure as heck, no, that's a person I want to hang out. That's a person that's like-minded with me. And I know that if I have an issue, she'll look at it and say, you know what, Bruce, you didn't look at it like this. I really like this piece, but honestly, you're not going deep enough in here and I see holes. Fuck, okay, let me look at it in that. Let me get after it. When it's done, it looks beautiful and grand, but it was run through a lot of different minds and people that I already know in my network. So it's not like it's all me. It's never all me. It's never going to be all you. It's going to be a group. It's going to be a team. It's going to be networks. I run developments buying developers all the time just to see where they're at with pricing, just to see where they're at with unit, all of this, even though I know the information. I do it because it teaches them that I'm still here and I'm active, but it also sharpens my tool in case something changed. In a matter of 1 year on one development site in one town, the entire zoning of the entire town changed, being into contract on the property. Now that's a fucking interesting thing. You imagine? I'm serious. You have to work with challenges that come. Thankfully, it should be okay. We're pushing ahead. But the point being is that there's curveballs every step of the way. You can't determine that fire. So understand it's your ability to respond and go over the speed bumps that's actually going to make the difference. All right, permission to move ahead from here? Okay. So start with one transaction. All right, about 10 minutes left before Q&A, guys, as a heads up. Start with one transaction. When it comes to commercial success or success in life, you have to start with one. 1 foot in front of the other, one day at a time, one transaction at a time. All right, great quote. I read from Walt Disney, it goes a little something like this. The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. Again, don't worry about failing. Make mistakes, fail flat on your face, but get back up. And then what did I learn? Because I guarantee you, what you learned is going to be way more important than the little misstep that you had. So understand that. The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. You want to jump into multifamilies? I'm going to send a mailer out to the 50 multifamilies that I want to prospect and make sure that they know who I am. I'm going to go to the auto bodies in my town and make sure every one of them has a flyer from me saying, I am an industrial auto body specialist. Even though you're not. You know why? Because the second you get the phone call, hey, listen, I can't talk right now. Can I call you back at 4 o'clock or is 5 better? Great. Hey, listen, I have my business partner now who's an auto specialist that you already have in your network. Can you have 5 minutes to talk? Let them handle that, learn, earn, set an appointment. All of a sudden now, you're looking like an expert. They don't know how many sales you did or didn't do. The point being is that you need to position yourself. It's all in the mind. Just position. Okay. When you specialize in 1 or 2 asset classes, you begin developing expert knowledge in these asset classes, growing your self-confidence, your sense of adding value to your clients, your asset database of buyers and sellers, and adding your buyers and sellers in the contract close process it takes to get a closing table when all parties are satisfied and mutually agreeable. Quick tip, you miss 100% of shots you won't. you don't take a shot, you can't miss. Can't miss, well, you can't win either. Stop being scared of what the failure is and mistakes, the way that our school system to not be, they have to be perfect and to get everything right. No, that's not the way the world works. The world works where you fail a lot more than you succeed. And if you're doing it the other way, I challenge you to understand what higher levels of success are. Because I guarantee you that same person's not there. So what I'm saying is, get sharp at something. Try it out, mold the putty, fail a little bit, succeed, fail, succeed. Eventually, you're going to succeed a lot. You keep going with that. And it's all in your mind. You can control your mind and your emotions on these things. You can just keep learning and learning every step of the way. A year in the business, it's, I sold 12 single families and I sold 1 commercial dealership. All right, bravo. Now, next year, let me do 2, 3. Well, you still sell 12, 20, 30 houses. I'm gonna do 2 deals, maybe 4 deals. And maybe you want to invest in something. Maybe you found it as a partner. Hey, you want to canoe with me? You got an extra few bucks. Maybe you got an equity position. You got something that you can do because you already know what it's worth because you've done the knowledge. You've done the success that you need to be able to jump into the ring with that. Again, these are small as large as you want. But just know that you got to take some chance. If you don't take chance, you will be left behind. So, questions on this? Just so you know, this is one of the projects, proven project. It was one of the first large scale developments and retrofits that I've ever been involved in. Before, I was always doing renovations and duplex building up to like 6 units. So this one, 33 units. This is the before, this is the after. It's built and it's leased out right now. 660 Grand Street, Jersey City. Okay. Why do we say that? Because you can build in whatever vision that you have. This vision right here was done by Jason and I because him and I both have daughters. And I have 1 daughter, he has 2. So this was us with a daughter. That was my spin. That was our spin together. That was something we wanted to do because it impacted us in a personal way. What do you guys want to do? I don't know. I love art. I'm a very creative person. The artwork to me was super killer. So I said, this is awesome. It made me feel good. It wasn't just the transactions, the whole thing. Any questions? Find a listing, find a mentor. Learn and earn. When you get a listing, best advice I give when a new agent asks me about is how should I start with commercial real estate is the following. Join a team, learn the systems inside and out, and you'll learn and you'll earn on somebody else's time, energy, and system. Model that's already proven. Choose a team that interviews, and TL sells in excess of 50 million if you want. 25 plus transactions to cover almost basis with 65% listings. Why? That person or people or team is proven. Okay. While you're learning and earning, do all the roles within the business, i.e., be the busboy, the restaurant, the bartender, the waiter, the general manager, etc. Empower yourself, write down notes about how you can improve those systems he or she already has skilled out. So you can do it better yourself. Separate you from an average realtor. But break out and do it yourself as yourself and the team. If you understand that you're studying other people that are at high levels, you can easily do it. It's just a matter of whether or not you want to. Use time into it. I know it sucks getting up in the morning and waking up and trying to figure out what to do in the real estate world. Get a schedule. Do the same things. We're creatures of habits. Second, you empower yourself to just do rhythm things that get you into motion. In the mornings, they're tough. Figure out a way to make it easier. Need motivation? Go to motivation. YouTube's a big thing. If you need some education, that's there too. Or there's courses throughout Bergen County Partners, BCP, Rutherford, that you can take. Make them applicable. Just show up to a course and it says, oh, there's a course here. No, I want to go to that course because it's going to teach me contracts. I need contracts because I know I'm going to be buying stuff one day. If I know my contracts, I can tell other people I know what I'm doing. All of a sudden you build, you gain confidence in yourself. When you see it through and through as a transactional broker or agent, you start realizing that you just made a ton of people. When you go 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years in the business, you made so many people, so many millions of dollars. It's time for you to do it yourself. Okay, so that's what I always say after commercial to learn. Quick tip. Someone has already done what we are trying to accomplish. Find them, partner with them, and when you have a legitimate asset ready to be sold or purchased. In this Rutherford office, if you have a commercial listing and you're not contacting Jason Trambicki, that would be one of the silliest things I would ever even want. I contact him. There's nobody sharper. You have somebody that's built into this that you can pour business on, and obviously qualified business. Can't just be a small. It's going to be real. But you have somebody, an advocate. Maybe it's closer to me and maybe it's something with me. You have me. You have another person in this industry outside of just us that can help you. Maybe you want a girl. We'll give you a great commercial girl. Maybe you want somebody that's older. Yeah, we have it in place already. So just understand whatever you have, when you got something that's strong, do not look at the condition. Look at how do I get this done? Because 100% of one is not what you're searching for. You're searching for 1% of 100. You have to get a deal done in order to make money. Everyone looks at these things and I notice people and I say, it's not the right mindset. You know why? You're thinking scarcity when you really should be thinking about it. So I challenge you to understand that there is a big discrepancy, but if you don't have a deal to be had, then you're working on something that will give you less energy, time, effort, and take money out of your pocket from gas money and all those other things. So lose out completely. Be smart. Be smart. Any questions here? Conclusion, every agent can do it. Not every agent will. Statistics show that 5% of this room is actually going to implement things. 10% is going to try, and about 15 to 20 is going to wonder about it, think about it for a week, and never do anything. The rest of you guys won't act. So I challenge you to do one thing. Do one thing. Figure out which commercial asset you like the most. Mine was, I'd love to see things develop. I would stare as a kid when I was younger, stare at a big building and say, man, I want to develop those. I love being creative. I love building things. That was me. Where are you guys? You have to have some connected to passion towards it. Passion will drive you, motivation, then education gets you sharper, and all of a sudden conviction actually gets it done. Start with one thing. Multi-families. Maybe it's manufacturing. Maybe my family is has a sewing business and there's a small manufacturing warehouse that they have that's 5,000 feet. Be the best. Figure out everything from 0 to 10,000 square feet in industrial in northern Jersey. I can handle. This way, anybody that comes through your network, you can handle it at the highest level. It might seem like, oh, there's not enough buildings or this. No, that's completely wrong. There'll be way more buildings when you start marketing. I'm amazing at doing this. People will start coming to you. And then it's your choice whether or not you want to take the business, or qualify the business, or help somebody else. Because trust me, once you give, you get. You don't give, you're never going to get. I don't care if it's your time, energy, effort, resources. It will not happen. All right. Lastly, just every agent can do it, not every agent will. My favorite quote in the entire world was, when you get to the fork in the road, take it, by Yogi Berra. What does that mean to you guys?
Make a decision.
That's correct. That's exactly what I interpret. Make a decision. Make a decision. If you are lagging on procrastination, that's something that you need to eliminate from your vocabulary. Make a decision. Make a decision to be a commercial broker. Make a decision to be an amazing residential, maybe a townhouse. If I'm a resi and I said, okay, you know what, I'm not ready for commercial, maybe I'm gonna be the best townhouse real estate broker and position myself as that in my database. You gotta understand, specialists are gonna get driven the business and generalists are gonna get all of it and then never service it at a high level. Even though I do general work sometimes, it's never serviced at the highest level that somebody else I see doing the job. I'll go into a relationship with clientele. Listen, I'm not an office broker. I can sell this. I'm not an office broker. And I don't really particularly want to. Why? Because I know that there's another office broker I can give it to or somebody I can partner with that's way more advanced than me. Now, can I get it done? Of course I can. Do I choose to? Probably not. So, there often comes time in life when you have to make a choice at the fork in the road. For me, that was when I decided to be the best I could and take on commercial real estate. And what you need to understand is that where you want to go is going to be different from where he wants to go. It's going to be different from where anybody else wants to go. That's where it's going to be your path. And quick tip, you cannot fly with the eagles when you hang around turkeys. Has anybody ever heard that before? Choose to hang around the eagles. Guarantee it's going to be good. Turkeys could be anything. Remember, we're programmed in this world in a different educational system. I know it's unconventional thinking, but you have to understand that you have to reprogram your brain a little bit. You have to understand that this is not going to be something that everybody will accept. Not everyone's going to understand how you want to go out there and sell a 50,000 square foot office building because you have a dream. No, work without it. Sell a 5,000 or 10,000 square foot office building. Do that really successfully. Get a chance, mark 20,000 square foot, and then go to 40 or 50. By the time you know it, you look back, it could be a year, 2 years, but you got, it could be 3 or 5. It just depends on how much hard work you put in. I put these in here just because, I look at who are the top builders. I'm a huge development broker, industrial, multifamily mixed use. I look at who's developing the most units in New Jersey. I want to know who's the top players. This is a resolution for a development. Understanding documents, understanding different things. This is a rendering from Class A multifamily. They're just different things to give you some, some visuals as to what these things are and how to go about your own business. All right, and just proven track record with some things here. And yeah, okay, so the last slide that we'll get into it before Q&A is going to be a case study, development to passive income. The best thing that I learned after doing renovations at a high level, buying properties, really short sales in essence, renovating them, selling them, or building up to like 6 units, was the ability to take something and then put it into passive income. I didn't do it as much then. I do it all the time now, and it's a focus because it's creating freedom. Now, what you're going to want to do is, in essence, building on the right side of the screen is building that Jason and I purchased about 4 to 5 years ago. We accomplished our first land development project from acquisition to sale and post-stabilization. We used the tax laws in our favor and held the acquired property after purchasing for at least 1 year before we sold the property via 1031 in a tax exchange, okay? The process took us 14 months. There were 7 figures in profit, and nobody can tell us that we can't do it because we have done it. So I'm telling you guys, you can do it too. It's not a crazy formula. It's a formula that if you implement, you'll be successful on. If you don't, and you get caught in the mix, you're going to learn. But it's proven that it can be done. That's my methodology for net worth building. Find yours. I don't know which one it's going to be, but it will be somewhere in the field. If you stay real estate minded and you like this, your passion will turn into whatever it is. Mine's in development. Where's yours? If yours is there, I guarantee you that you connect with like minds, you educate yourself, you get ahead. The world just has a funny way of showing up for you. I don't know what it is. I can't tell you how it is. It just does. It's a funny way. If you do the right things, the world shows up. And somehow you get ahead in an opportunity. And I sure as heck will tell you, it ain't luck. Now, luck's on our side when we're doing good. You got to be in the ring, right, to get luck. But I sure as heck know that if you're saying, oh, I never win anything, or I'm not lucky with this, put your mindset ready. Because you're ready to have to be in the ring. Now, again, does it come every time? No, it doesn't. A lot of falls, a lot of mistakes, a lot of bumps and bruises. Like, learning to ride a bike as a kid. I would fall off a few times. When you don't know where to start at the last place you know. I don't know where you guys are, but start it at the last place that you know. This comes into play because you need to build off of what you know and what you don't know at the exact same time. If I know that I know something and I know I don't know something, I sure as heck know I'm either putting a person that knows what I don't know in, or I'm learning enough information to be able to speak about it so that I can then decide whether or not it's something I'm better at or leveraging out. So understand those little tips. Lastly, ahas. All right, so I'm going to go around the room. I want everybody to share one thing that they learned today, or one thing that they find that they can implement into their business, or just a general comment or thought.
I never thought about developing like single families as commercial. And I've always thought about that. I just have no idea where to start, but this is just great knowledge to know that's even commercial.
That's what we're talking.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do commercial, but I'm scared to jump into it, because I'm in residential.
Okay.
And what would you say is the right amount of time a day to prospect? When you're still doing a residential,
Consistent.
maybe get a deal or 2 in a year.
No. What you're asking is when's the best prospecting time?
How many hours a day can I do? Just the transition.
I mean, that's going to be depending on how much time you have. Because I would say most of your time should be on prospect.
Right.
If you don't have business, you can't work on business. So I would say if you do between 1 and 3 hours, I'd say consistently, 1, 2, 5 days a week, just do consistency. That to me has always been the big thing, because you can always build on it or you can remove it if it's too much. But if you're not consistent in whatever you're doing, you won't have the ability to move those chips. Like i.e., if you realize every single day it's working, but now I generated way too much business and now I need to peel it back, go to 3 days. You know, or just do it 1 or 2 days a week and say, every single week I know I'm gonna do it here, do it, report back, okay, yes, I succeeded, no, I did it. Who's hot leads? I always highlight my sheets, you know, in terms of that. But just do it consistently would be the only amount of time that I'd say. I don't care if it's for half an hour, 5 minutes. I mean, maybe not 5 minutes, but you know, half an hour, 5 hours. Just do it consistently. If you don't do it consistently, you won't be able to measure what you're doing. That's all I'm saying. How much time, that's going to be up to you. What do my ISAs and my teammates do? Between 2 and 3 hours a day. So, they also love being on the phones. Yeah.
Do you get more content
It is.
like residential, or is it slower?
I get a lot more contacts because you're more individualized. You don't have as many people calling. So a lot of my lists, you know, they might have heard from a broker a month ago.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That's what I mean. But also I jumped out because I didn't want to compete against everybody in the residential field when all of a sudden I was the 37th broker in.
Mhm.
I was like, what the F am I doing? I was like, there's gotta be some other way to do it. And truthfully, over the years, as always, I was inspired by another person doing it. That's how I really started focusing on it. And eventually I said, holy crap, I have, you know, right now I have 34 commercial listings. Maybe, you know, 9 or 10 residential. Nothing crazy, but decent amount of work, you know, a lot of volume, 140 million or so in pre-list. You know, where does it come? I mean, shoot, some of these buildings are $30 million. I can't even tell you that. I didn't know when I was going to start working on buildings of this magnitude. I just always knew I wanted to. And I just knew if I'm educated, I can do this. And then all of a sudden you start getting other people that actually say, you know what? I think you can do it. I want to see you get ahead. You know, it's cool to see you and your daughter running around. You know, I like her. I want to see this guy succeed. I want to see this girl succeed. I'll give you a shot. You got to do it genuinely. I care about people, so it's one of my rewards, but it's also one of my downfalls.
Mhm.
I've been burned a lot of time by people. I don't allow that to happen, so I don't give my time as much to people anymore. Why? Because they'll take advantage of you. And if you know that in advance, you can weed it, which is why I always want to be around like-minded people, because I know my time is never taken up. And it's always put towards good use. That's why I like training. That's why I come here. I want to inspire you the same way I was inspired. You know, this course, I plan on doing not just this one, but maybe one of the others, etc. I plan on doing a mega camp or a family reunion in front of thousands and thousands of people. And eventually I plan on selling my materials and I plan on doing things at a whole nother level. Those are my goals. Did I always have those? Did I know that when I was 12 years old or 20 or 25? No, I had no idea. But I knew that going through this path of real estate, to me, would be a long-term effort. And I knew if it was long-term, then I got to figure out the short-term as well. So if I ever needed cash, I'd go do rentals. If I needed to, you know, do some resi transactions, I'd pour that on. My focus was always on net worth and on commercial, especially now over the past 5 or 6 years. But it's still there. So it's there for you guys too. You know, I'm here for you as an advocate, as also a person that's in this business. Just 5 miles down the road in Fort Lee, maybe 7, I don't know. I'm right there. My team's there. You can come check it out, see whatever we have. You're inspired. Talk to me personally, separately, whatever it is. All right. We'll do Q&A after that. I just wanted to see some ahas from people. So give me a few. Give me three ahas, 3 more. Okay.
When I took over this school, I gotta make contact with
Contacts into
I
contract.
gotta do mortgages.
That's it.
I gotta create my database, you know, in my database, because right now, you know, my database, not good. I gotta get more.
Start anywhere, wherever you're at last, right? Start right there. I got no commercial contacts. I want to build them. You know what's amazing? I was talking to Elvis, one of my business partners, the other day, and he said, Bruce, I got quite a big list here of the investors that we got in the industrial segment. I said, how many have you got? Legitimate transactions. He's got 81. You know, I have 292 or 93 now at that point in that same category. He's like, I got 81. I said, yeah, that's awesome. You know why? Those are 81 real buyers and sellers in the market for one asset class. Chris, He's spoken to every single one of them. And I give him scripts for that and say, here's what to say. He's horrible in the beginning. 4 years ago, Matt Arakello, horrible. 8 years before that, I could give you all examples of all different teammates I've had that have bloomed into their own teams, that would choose to do business, we choose not to, we've gotten out of business because some of them didn't align with moral or ethics codes, things like that. You know, I've had, my first partner in real estate, just a funny story. This was during Hurricane Sandy way back when, was no longer my partner after Hurricane Sandy because he set up a scam to have all the Hurricane Sandy victims taking that money, which I had no idea. This was a side hustle with him and his girl. And I said, is this guy kidding me? Seriously, I'm not even kidding. So you never know what people do, which is where I said to myself, holy crap. One, we're out of business. Two, you're no longer at this company. I'm no longer at this company because I want nothing to do with you. But at the same point, it taught me a little thing early on called, don't do that. Don't succumb to easy money. This is not easy money. This is called lifelong money. But I'll also tell you, nobody will take it away from you. You start doing this stuff, ain't nobody gonna come to you and say, no, or please, no, nothing. This is legitimate as it comes. So know that. You stuff your account, you're like, no, I could take care of my mom's. I could take care of my cousin. I got a business venture. My little brother right here is a musician genius. I got it. Whatever you want to do, connect that. Because if you don't, somebody else will, you're gonna take your spot. The same way that I've seen ideas in the past. I thought of ideas that weren't here, all of a sudden I saw them years later. You guys ever had that happen? Crazy, right? As you acted on that idea. I mean, shoot, the person that has sock puppets made millions of dollars. I look at that and I say, man, I could do it better than that. This guy made millions of sock puppets. Shoot, what am I doing wrong? You know? But at the end, it's really more what are you doing right? Changing your mindset. Yeah. Yeah.
For new agent, what do you recommend, to get more clients? When you started out, what did you do?
How old are you?
21?
21. Okay, so I started young like you. It was hard for me to build trust with people because I was young. And because a lot of my friends weren't transacting volume so much. I went to $1 million sales. My friends were in college, we were trying to pay rent. You know what I mean? So it was one of those differences. So I immediately looked at it and said, this is not going to be my clientele. I got to jump out of it and make sure that I align with somebody else that might have that gray or might have that older feel that I can get bigger listings with. Guy, girl, doesn't matter. In the meantime, especially building your database, do it with rentals because every single rental client is going to turn into a sale client. So as long as you position yourself there, one, you get quick money, right? If you deal with rentals, they close, you get paid. So you can build up cash flow as well. Cash flow gives you a stronger base to market, to position yourself with your other clients as you grow your commercial or just residential. But anybody is a contact turns to contract. I mean, I'm telling you, literally, I have sat in Starbucks lines and talked to people, and they have become contacts to contract. Okay. I mean, I door knocked like a $2 million house and gave me the listing the next day. I couldn't believe it. I swear, I don't think you guys understand. I could not believe some of the things that occurred when I started asking for business. When my confidence was there, I knew what I was doing, knew what I was talking about. I didn't know that until I knew it. Now that I know it and I look back like a Monday morning quarterback, I'm saying to you guys, if I knew that information prior, it would be much different. So be that person that you want to be. Anybody else? Ahas? Ahas,
I
anybody?
guess an aha for me was when you said, when you're looking at the courses, you said, do what's applicable at the moment, right now. Don't look so far ahead, because we get
just a quick take on those.
go for it.
Okay.
You said,
Basically, just, you said for the courses, do what's applicable right now at the moment.
Yeah.
Because if you look too far ahead, you're not gonna be educated at what you need to do right now.
I couldn't agree more.
That was,
If you're not, you're lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
You know, do it now. Plus, once you're on that mindset, you're gonna get better. You're gonna get better. It's all about just persevering through the bullshit. You guys gotta understand, there's no like, this is the path to go. This is what we do definitively. Like, I wish we had that, but there's no operating manual in life. You know, you can go to a McDonald's and get an operating manual. In life, nobody threw that my way, our way. You know, so yeah, your applicable use is gonna be where you're pouring your fire hydrant of energy and effort. Because nothing will take that away quicker than just doing something randomly and then never doing it again. It's like college. I can't even tell you half the courses I took. Yeah. Really don't. I can't even tell you. Advanced calculus. I can't tell you when I use that. Personally, even saying it is a little bit difficult. So imagine. But I tell you what, I can add, subtract, grab a calculator. I can do some simple math that I know because I was taught how to do it. I'm not the smartest person in this room, not even close. What I'm good at is a system and a process that I followed, that I've been able to create a mechanism to create money. That money in return seems like it's something bigger than it is, but it's not. It's literally just every single day I wake up, I put my pants on, I go to work. You know, I plan something, so if you're gonna pour that spout on something, pour it on it and then put a little marketing campaign around it. Social, normal, door knock, do something. Go to every single asset that's an office building in your town if that's what you want. Find out who the owner is. Put a little list. All right, owner of that building, owner of this building. Yeah, it's tedious, but let me tell you, you only need one of those clients to change your entire life. You don't need more. I mean, we have one person that has a net worth of $500 or $600 million. What the heck do you need? I can't even sell all his properties. You follow? So again, you start stacking those on top of each other. It's a healthy problem to have, but you better sure be the specialist, because as soon as those people know that you have a weakness in that and you didn't leverage it out, they don't consider you smart enough to be on their team. And that's where I faltered in the beginning. I faltered because I thought I could do it on my own. Okay. I made those mistakes. So don't make those on yours. So applicable use. Remember, you train people, you build a database around it, and you're focused on it, something's gonna happen. And I guarantee it virtually, because your mind manifests these things. Somehow you see an opportunity somewhere and you strike because you know, I just did that. I know what it's worth. I know how to do this. Hey, listen, here's what I did. Boom. Somebody will give you a shot. When you're out here hustling in the world, people respect that. They see it. So they want to work with people like that. Any other ahas, question marks?
What I took was continuous learning.
Okay.
So I also want to get into development, so maybe something I should start learning is like what you can actually do with like properties.
They got great development courses in CCIM.
Yeah, and also see maybe take some courses.
Take some of those and then ask me questions. Take them all. I used to fly around, thank God they have them online. I used to fly around the country spending money to go to these courses. I always thought of it as a good way to get away. You know, it was kind of cool. Families back at home, got a little daughter screaming her head off, ripping my hair out a little. It's better than to take a few days to educate. You know, so that's what I did. I don't know what your situations are, but figure it out. To me, that was like empowering peace and also learning, which was a really, really cool, fun mix. And I met people there, like I just told you. One of our biggest clients right now is somebody I met at one of those 10 years ago. I haven't spoken to him in 10 years until last year. He just said, Bruce, you're in northern New Jersey, right? Yes, I am. I've got a big laundry list of items I need you to handle for me in the real estate field. I said, let's talk. That became something huge. Now, has that happened in other ones? Yeah, it's going to happen in your world too. But I just say it to you because you never know where it's coming from. Before that, it was small, large. You know, I had one guy tell me that he wants to give me, he gave me 2 buildings for 31 million and for 26 million. And he did it because he just loved my daughter. He said, I want you to earn that money. Take care of your family. These are direct comments from people that net worths of this amount. So I'm not doing anything special. I mean, I did bring him some bagels and orange juice. And no joke too. I mean, it's funny when I look back, but I swear to you, I did that. I humbled myself. I'll take a walk with somebody just because they need some time to deal with somebody because they're 80 years old and they have tons of real estate and nobody else. I'll be the one that takes a walk. I don't know what you guys do to care, but realize this one thing. People don't care about you unless they know how much you care about them. I'll leave you guys off on that. If you need anything, I'm here. All right?